Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. What's driving the S&P 500, NEO, and XRP? Well, we're not going to focus on NEO whatsoever in this video. Don't care about it. This is an XRP-centric channel, damn it. But XRP is intermingled with the rest of global finance and purchasing of assets in general. It's it's a very vivid economy around the world, right? And so as far as the S&P 500, happy to talk a little bit about that because it can, some would say, provide an indication of what you can expect in other markets, including the cryptocurrency asset class and thus XRP. And I know markets are down today, but it's not all bad news here. So I'm going to be running through this. Before we go any further, though, if you would please delicately tap that like button, I would certainly appreciate it. And also, if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, you done came to the right spot, son. Go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. I dare ya. I double dare ya. Oh, and by the way, I'll mention this too. There's a story. I'm going to be brief on this one, but it's fascinating. They were talking about how Bitcoin may be expected to go to about $340,000. You know, just a little bit of increase from where it's at right now, $340,000. But as I record this, XRP is at 27.6 cents. Bitcoin is at $11,463. Market cap for the asset class is at $354 billion, and Bitcoin dominance still below 60% at 59.67%. Now, despite this recent pullback, which, if you've been listening to my videos, now I'm not a chart analyst, certainly not, but I share opinions from chart analysts, and it seemed to me that they were talking about what would it take for XRP to go down to this level. They're saying, well, many of them said if it dips below, gets to that support level of 28.5 cents, which many said was pretty strong support. If it does dip below that, you can expect it to go a little bit lower, and it is a little bit today. Regardless, though, it shouldn't be terribly surprising that you're seeing some sort of retracement, given what's been happening over these last several weeks in particular. And I do want to be clear that I'm not a financial advisor, and I do not have a financial background, so I'm just your regular Joe Schmo, and I'm running a YouTube channel as a hobby for fun, and I'm an enthusiastic member of the XRP community. That is it. I want to be super duper clear. Don't buy or sell because I'm happy to share my opinions and talk about this stuff, but that is all that it is. Now for Bitcoin, it is still up over the last 30 days, 20.37% despite the recent pullback. So there you go. And even over the last 24 hours, XRP is only down 4.5%. Sky is not falling, says me. Now, as far as does this represent an opportunity? Well, here's a tweet from my fellow XRP YouTuber Kevin Cage, and he wrote the following. Funny how the majority of people only watch the market when it's green. I do the exact opposite. That's where moves are made. That's where all the opportunity lies. And so, again, you make your own decision, maybe speak to a financial advisor, which I am not. But historically, when there are pullbacks, if you buy when there's a dip and you're of the mindset I'm going to hold for a very long period of time, whether it's a stock or you're talking about the cryptocurrency asset class, you do well, typically. And so, for me, I'm not interested in day trading. Now, if you are a trader and maybe you're even good at it, if that's the thing you do, pullbacks like these can typically represent opportunity, very frequently anyway. And so, I don't know where the price is going to go. I'm not pretending to. But, again, many traders that I've been covering on this channel said certainly a pullback was possible. But even after that, they were still talking about, even if the pullback happened, which is now, there were many that within the last couple weeks, 1 to 2 weeks, were saying things like, okay, understand that this is likely, perhaps. Some even said likely. Some just kind of said maybe. But maybe expect XRP after that to hit support again, even if it's as low as 24 cents, and then expect it to shoot up to about 48 cents. I had all sorts of reports, and if you've been watching me, then you probably have seen some of these videos where I've been sharing this, so we'll see what happens. But again, I just want to share the opinion of these traders, which the general consensus seems to be that this shouldn't be catching anyone off guard if you've been paying attention, right? Now, on to this piece from Bitcoinist.com. What's driving the S&P 500 and XRP? Well, the S&P 500, the index tracking the largest listed U.S. companies, is making headlines as it is poised to hit a new all-time high, moving past the 3,386 it set back in February. The index launched in 1957, and even though there have been some rocky periods since it is remarkably creeping towards new territory in the same year as COVID-19. In a few months, it has been able to recover from a trough of 2,287 on March 23rd. Now, they're talking about the S&P 500 there, but if you take a look at the Dow Jones, I pulled this up because I hadn't looked at this in a little while. The Dow Jones is actually not that far off from its all-time high, which would have been, what, around here? At some point in February, it was knocking on 30,000's door. Now it's at $27,930. So we're going to talk about why that might be, but let me cover this a little bit further. But why? Many analysts have pointed to this recovery being fueled by a few select tech giants, Apple, Alphabet, Amazon, etc., which are powering the whole index upwards because of their size, even though some other constituents are having a much more difficult time. There is no doubt these companies have had a good 2020, as even though the coronavirus has disrupted both business and everyday life for billions around the world, the demand for tech products and services has been unparalleled. So consider this. It's not the case that these companies, as they pulled up, because look, even if you take a look at the Dow Jones, and again, they were talking about the S&P 500 there, but take a look at the Dow Jones, got down to somewhere around 18,591, and again, it's at 27,930. So why is that? Because it's certainly not the case that they're producing more. No. They're pretty much all down. I mean, there may be some outliers, but they're pretty much all down to whatever degree, anywhere from 30 to like 99%, depending on what business it is that you're talking about here. So how is it that it's increased? Well, think about this. So when you had that crash around mid-March and stocks were really starting to tank, crypto did too, right? XRP, Bitcoin, XRP, hell, got around somewhere around 11 cents, depending on which exchange you're talking about. And that was definitely scary to many people there. But what happened? What did the federal government do? Oh, they printed trillions of dollars. The printer press go burr, and that I can't do the rolling of the R, so when I do it, it's like burr. Sounds like I'm not feeling well, like burr. Yeah, that's the best I can do that. But the printer press go burr, right? And so it shouldn't be surprising that assets have been increasing. Think about this. And you could see the Fed cut interest rate to essentially 0 to 0.25% in March. And so what's been happening? You can look at even what's happening with real estate, which arguably is in a bubble, right? There's a shortage of homes. And you can take a look at what's happened with other cryptocurrency, the asset class in general. It's been climbing ever since. You can think about how low XRP got, and now it's still just a little bit shy of 30 cents. Money's been flowing in. Same for stocks. It's flowing into assets. And why is this happening? Well, it's a really good question to ask, because the United States is currently printing the United States dollar into oblivion. Now, I'm not making the case that there's going to be hyperinflation anytime soon. In fact, if I had to guess, there probably will not be. It could be many, many, many years away, maybe even the better part of a decade. I'm not sure. Probably not anytime soon, but it's enough to scare people. And consider that as the United States the United States continues to print more dollars, the purchasing power of each dollar goes down. And I was listening to Anthony Pompliano, who's the co-founder of Morgan Creek Digital. He's a Bitcoin maxi, but nice dude. I agree with him on almost everything having to do with crypto, just not that Bitcoin's the only one. There's like a few little things, but as I've listened to him more, I've been like, yeah, I agree with you on substantially more than I would have guessed. He's a real smart dude. Not a troll at all, even though he's kind of more closer to the maxi side. But I was listening to something from him, maybe in a podcast from one of his videos, and he made a point. And he was talking about how, it's a good point, he was talking about how, obviously, as I just stated, the United States dollar is printed into oblivion, right? Each year, historically, interest creeps up by about 2%. And that's, again, it just has to do with the supply increase, and that's exactly what's ultimately causing it. It's supplying, if more dollars chasing the same or fewer goods, like what do you think is going to happen, right? Inflation happens. But he was also talking about if you denominate, like look at stocks. So you could say that the price, like if you look at the stock market, it's been just on the rise. But that's because the buying power of the dollar has been diminished. If you denominate stocks in gold and look at it over the last few decades, it's about flat. Isn't that interesting? That's because it takes more dollars to chase these stocks here. And people putting their money in the assets, probably safer than the dollar. The dollar's going to keep losing value. And he also made the point, because you can denominate stocks in whatever you want. So as if you denominate it in Bitcoin, stocks have actually lost value over the last decade. So it's all about what you're denominating, because Bitcoin has increased rather dramatically, and certainly even relative to the United States dollar. Whereas the United States dollar, you just get inflation a little bit year over year, creeps along, and if you have the same amount of dollars 1 year from now that you have today, you can do less with them, right? Even if you don't have runaway inflation, that keeps happening here. And so as far as what's happening with the S&P 500 and crypto, it's not surprising that people, as they've gotten more money printed from the government, there were the PPP loans, it shouldn't be surprising that people are throwing it into crypto, and some of it is making its way even to XRP, right? So not terribly surprising there. Now, as far as XRP, what they had to say here, XRP, oh God, this really grinds my gears. XRP is crypto firm Ripple's coin. Oh, no, that is not true. And there is a definitive number in circulation. That part's true. XRP is a decentralized cryptocurrency. Ripple did not create it. It existed before Ripple, the company, existed. Okay, so there we go. 100 billion tokens. There's 100 billion XRP to start. Less now because there's a little bit that's burned with every transaction. But while investors are split for choice when it comes to the cryptocurrencies, demand for XRP has proven robust. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse recently revealed that since launch in October 2018, around 2 billion has been processed around the world in XRP coins. Ripple attributes the popularity of XRP to its use in cross-border payments. The firm accepts fiat currency, pounds, dollars, euros, anything that has been legitimized by a government, with the equivalent in XRP, then being sent to a corresponding exchange in another country before being converted back to actual money again. Close enough explanation. I wouldn't word it like that, but I'm not going to get into it in this video. But as the world has been forced to become more digital in the past few months, reliance on XRP has accelerated and the value has responded. On February 14th, XRP had a price of 32 cents, and by March 15th, it had fallen to 14 cents. However, it has since climbed back up in price, and as of August 17th, it's priced at 31 cents, right? And so again, I think that this ultimately comes down to, this should not be surprising. As more money has been printed, like, it's not that these companies, the S&P 500, we can look at what's happening with the Dow Jones, stocks in general, like, it's not the case that they're producing more. No, it's all down. So how the hell is it that the price is going up? It's not really rocket science. There's dollars to chase it. But again, where's the problem lie? You know what that does in terms of inflation. So that's why it makes sense to have, in my mind, this is not financial advice, it makes sense to me to have money in assets. And so for me, part of what that means is purchasing XRP. Only amount I'm willing to lose in case I'm actually wrong, and I don't think I'm wrong, but just in case. I'm Mr. XRP Bull. But I only purchase what I'm willing to lose in case I'm wrong, because I know that there's a finite amount. It's actually decreasing. It's deflationary. And I think that cryptocurrencies that have staying power, if you fast forward decades from now, they'll be worth substantially more. The United States will be worth infinitely less. And so that's the trick. If you want to not be poor, well, obviously live beneath your means. But, that's certainly a piece of it. But you put your money in assets and talk to a financial advisor about whatever you're doing, but put money in assets, right? This is not rocket science here. So, as far as XRP, like the reason that it's going this direction, ultimately, yeah, utility is going to matter, but it'll matter tremendously more as more institutions that buy in and retail investors parse out the differences. It's only being done to a degree. Like, I'm parsing out the differences, and if you're listening to this, I wouldn't be surprised if you're doing the same. You're like, oh yeah, XRP, getting used, actual utility, staying power, makes sense. You're probably thinking along those lines. I wouldn't be surprised. Not to put words in your mouth, but I wouldn't be surprised in the least. And then you have this article, here it is, from Cointelegraph. Bitcoin will hit $340,000 if Bitcoin price repeats the 2016 halving cycle pattern. I'm going to be brief with this. But Bitcoin needs to hit $340,000 just to match its performance from its last halving cycle, data shows. In a Twitter series on August 20th, popular statistics resource Charts BTC noted that Bitcoin still has huge room for growth at current levels of $11,700. Comparing lows, highs, and halving prices from its two previous halving cycles, Charts BTC put the difference between peaks at 36x from the 2012 cycle and 17x for the 2016 cycle. In order to repeat even the more modest cycle success, Bitcoin/USD would have to trade at $340,000. Now, 36x from last cycle's high, Bitcoin's all-time record of $20,000, comes to $720,000. So we'll see if it happens, but if I had to guess, the next parabolic run is going to be tremendous for Bitcoin and probably XRP too. That would be my guess. I don't make price predictions, but I'll bet that. But that is it for this video. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.